Hey y'all, how are you doing? I am great. Thank you so much for asking. It is me, Kim. I am back for another video. So I'm doing this video by request. I do not normally review Game of Thrones, and this will be my first and last Game of Thrones review. I'm only doing it because one of you sweet little pumpkins sent me a DM on Twitter and said how much it would mean for you to see somebody who looks like me reviewing this show. And you know that I am a sucker for a representation argument. So I'm here. This, though, it really is going to be my first and last Game of Thrones review, unless Cersei Lannister makes it out of this series alive. I will not be back. If Cersei Lannister is not dead at the end of the final episode of this season, oh, I will be back. I will be back yelling. But I had no problem talking about season 8, episode 4, because I really liked it. I had no problem watching it twice. It gave me everything that I love about Game of Thrones. It gave us dragons. It gave us a battle. It gave us King's Landing. It gave us love. It gave us Tyrion, a good Tyrion monologue. Oh, I live for that. So I just absolutely loved it. And I know that a few people had some problems with this episode. And girl, I cannot relate because I like this episode way more than I liked last week's Battle of Winterfell. No. That was so ridiculous and so boring. And the right people didn't die. R.I.P. Lady Lyanna Mormont and R.I.P. Theon and R.I.P. Jorah. But it just wasn't. It didn't live up to the hype for me, but I did appreciate that Arya got to be the hero. Like, she was training for that moment, and I'm glad that they gave it to her. The beginning of this episode starts with the North trying to recover from the Battle of Winterfell. So we see stacks of bodies piled up on these funeral pyres that are going to be set on fire. Sansa is grieving Theon, and it's so sad that all Theon wanted all of his life was to be accepted, to be embraced as a real part of a real family, and the only way that he could achieve that was to be killed by the Night King. That was the only way that Theon was going to get the acceptance that he craved. And that's really a bummer. Like, it's really sad. We also see Dany mourning Jorah. We see little Lady Lyanna Mormont, who, went out like a gangster. It's a really sad sight. And one thing that I have to say that I love about Game of Thrones is how big it is. So when they do finally set those piles of bodies on fire, we do get these like beautiful, it feels weird to call them beautiful, but these beautiful sweeping shots. The camera pans out and we see those fires, we see those flames, and we see the billows of smoke, and we see the wall in the background and the castles. I'm like, oh my, I love scale. I love scale. I love a spectacle. And Game of Thrones is so enjoyable because they give us that. It's a true fantasy. Throughout this entire series, I've been team Dany. First of all, Emilia Clarke is a gem. She's such a doll. She's so fun. And her real life personality is like a mile away from Daenerys Targaryen. But just Dany, the character, I just love unbridled ambition of a woman. Like, girl, you want that Iron Throne? Go get it. Do whatever has to be done. I love a by any means necessary woman, and that's Daenerys Targaryen. But Daenerys Targaryen does not have a black heart like Cersei. She is the mother of dragons. She's the breaker of chains. Daenerys has a real heart, and I think that she is concerned about doing good, and she is concerned about doing harm, and that's why we love her. But in this episode, we see that she is a little too focused on the Iron Throne, so focused that she is not going to listen to good counsel, and she's going to make some huge mistakes that cost her greatly. And I also feel like jealousy in a leader is like the worst. It's the worst trait, because when you get consumed with jealousy, the kind of jealousy that she has for her nephew / boo John, right? We saw in that dinner scene where everybody was crowding around him and celebrating John as the hero, that look in Danny's eyes where it was like snapped, you know, and she was real jealous of him. When you're led by jealousy, you do stupid stuff, and she did some stupid stuff. I don't understand why people hate Sansa Stark. It does not make sense to me. I binged watched this entire series, seasons 1 through 7, last fall, and I can do that because I don't have a real job. And at the beginning of the series, Sansa was a spoiled brat, as all of those kids were, because they lived great privileged lives and they had only known summer. They had never experienced hardship or winter. And she was just so stupid and bratty and wanted to be with Joffrey and all that. And you're like, Sansa. But Sansa has been through so much. She saw her father be beheaded. She's been raped and abused. She's had to kill her husband. I mean, like, she's been through so much, and she's made such smart decisions, especially when it was just her up in Winterfell. Like, put some respect on Sansa's name. I hate it. I feel like there's a weird sexism aimed toward her. Okay? I love Sansa. And I do think that Sansa, at this point in the series, is one of the only people who is seeing 100% clearly. She is right to look askance at Dany, because Dany ain't right. Dany is making some missteps, and Sansa has had such close interaction with Cersei that it makes sense to me that she would be like, oh, another one? Oh, no. You know, we got to get her out of here. I think that's where Sansa's coming from. I don't think it's about jealousy. I think Sansa genuinely, as the Lady of Winterfell, wants to do what's best for her people. Okay, but back to Dany and Jon. There's that scene where they come together and they're alone, and Dany is obviously distressed because she's jealous. She's jealous. She wants to claim the Iron Throne, and she knows that Jon is the rightful heir to the throne. And so, you know, I think that Dany cares about Jon, but I think that she cares about power more, and she will do whatever it takes, including manipulating Jon, to make sure that he's plays his role in the background so that she can sit on the Iron Throne. And so in that scene where Jon is like distressed and I'll do whatever you want and I'll bend the knee and my loyalty is to you, I feel like Dany was playing Jon like a fiddle, you know? And Jon is just so immature and just naive and weak that he went along with it and told her that he wasn't going to say anything. But then in the next scene, what does he do? He tells, you know, like Jon just does not have a backbone, you know? That's another reason why I am conflicted, because I think Dany wants it a little bit too much, but Jon is just a little too weak to be the ruler. No. I don't think so. And also that scene between Jon and Dany where she's like, promise you won't say anything, is low key. If you're familiar with any kind of psychology, if you've been to counseling, like that was low key abusive, you know, where it's like, this is just our secret. If you love me, you won't tell. I'll only give you what you want if you don't tell. Girl, if your partner or your boyfriend or your girlfriend says that to you, you're being abused. I am generally team Tyrion, and he said something so poignant to Sir Davos in that little eating area, the dining area, where he said, we defeated them, but we still have to deal with us. And I'm actually glad that we got that Battle of Winterfell over, because I do think the more compelling fight is with Cersei and King's Landing. And so we got that over with. So now we can move on to the big joker or the big boss, or what is it in Mario? King Koopa or whatever, I don't know. I really like Tormund as a character. He's just fun, and he just wants to keep his people safe, and he makes jokes, and he loves Brienne, and I love the way that his desire for Brienne is constructed. I saw some people saying that it felt like a joke, but I'm like, no, I think Tormund is like genuinely, he really wants Brienne. And I like Brienne being, put up as this object of desire because it's like, it's just a different, I think it matters that different kinds of people are seen as sexy and desirable. And I like the fact that Brienne of Tarth isn't in this series just painted, or Sir Brienne, should we say, isn't just painted as like asexual and like completely strong. No! She is a person with feelings. I also saw a lot of uproar about Sansa's conversation with Clegane, and I did not interpret that as her saying, oh, I'm grateful that I was kidnapped and raped and abused by people that I trusted. Like, I did not interpret that at all. I interpreted it as a woman who began as a girl who went through some horrific shit, who said, I'm gonna make lemonades out of the horrible fucked up lemons of my life. I did not at all interpret it as the writers of this show saying, well, thank God I was raped. No, like, she's been through some bad shit. It could have broken her. Instead, we have Sansa, via her own strength that she was able to summon, being this incredibly, like, thoughtful, calculating, poised, and self-possessed leader. Like, that's amazing. That's an incredible triumph. I also loved little Arya warrior princess turning down Gendry, as it's exactly as they should have. Now look, Game of Thrones gets a lot of shit because it is a show made by men behind the camera. The males are writing the show and they are directing this show. But I do think that they have made efforts to upset some of the traditional gender stuff that was real bad in the earlier seasons of this show. And Gendry is the most eligible bachelor in Westeros by far. By far. If girls are throwing themselves at Tormund, then it's bad. So Arya, despite the fact that she does love Gendry, saying, no, that's not my destiny. My destiny is to kill Cersei. I mean, she didn't say that, but that's what she was thinking, right? Like, I still have people to kill. So no, I cannot be the lady of, Stormzy, or what is it? Whatever Gendry is now the lord of. She's like, no. It's not for me. So I feel like we all knew that Brienne and Jaime were gonna hook up. It was inevitable, but God, I hate that it happened. Oh my God. Jaime sucks. He sucks. Brienne is so kind and pure, and obviously from the beginning, as soon as they started taking off clothes, girl, you knew where it was gonna go, and you knew it was going to end badly because Jaime sucks. He's a horrible person. And I only want the best for Brienne of Tarth. I want someone better than Jaime. I've impregnated my sister 4 times Lannister. Like, she can do better. So Sir Bronn makes it to the north to basically extort Jaime and Tyrion. And low-key, Sir Bronn had a really poignant idea about how power is amassed, right? So when Jaime and Tyrion were trying to look down on him and trying to be like, you don't deserve Highgarden, and he was like, why not? Like, I am now what your family used to be generations ago. And like, that is so true. Like, low-key, when Sir Bronn was like, yeah, I'm a cutthroat now, but your family was cutthroat a couple of generations ago. Like, it's so true of basically every powerful family anywhere. Like, the Kennedys, the Trumps, they all get to where they are by doing horrible, dumb, illegal stuff. And then they clean themselves over a couple of generations, and then they become perfectly respectable. So I really appreciated Bronn being like, no, give me Highgarden and I will not kill you. Okay, I haven't mentioned this, but another thing that struck me in this episode is we have been watching those kids, Sansa, Arya, Bran, since they were literal children. If you look at their first publicity photos, those are little kids. And those little kids grew up to be really good actors. Particularly in this episode, Sansa, for me, there were just so many times where Sansa just gives a look, gives a little sigh. It's just like, oh my God, you guys know I love acting, okay? Like, I love a good actor. And Sophie Turner, Oh, she's good. She's good. And I'm just so impressed because I feel like everybody who's a good actor as a kid doesn't grow up to be a good actor as an adult, right? Anyways, they grew up to be really good actors. So they come together to map out and strategize how they're going to attack King's Landing. Dany says, we don't have any time to waste, even though one of my dragons has holes in his wings. And all of these people literally just got out of a fight for their lives. But Dany says, no, we're going to attack them now. She really displayed how being drunk with power, like I said, leads you to make bad decisions and kind of abuse your privilege as the person who calls the shots, because Sansa was right. People need to take some time to rest and to heal. And I think this is like the real conflict that I have with Dany, and like when Tyrion and Varys are going back and forth about Dany and her fitness to be the monarch, right? Like, she wants it too much. And like, on one hand, she is miles better than Cersei because Cersei is a mean ass witch. She is horrible. And we know that Dany cares about doing what's right. And, you know, she is not afraid to kill people. We know that, you know, but she kills people justly. Yeah, she kills the right people generally. But she wants it too much. And I think there is a fundamental conflict between I want to do good and I'm going to do anything that I need to do to amass power. You think that you're going to be able to balance that stuff out, but you can't. And it's really coming to a head right now with Dany, because at some point you're going to have to choose. Do you want to do the right thing and spare lives? Or do you want to get that power? And Dany has said she wants to get that power. And she, you know, the breaker of chains, mother of dragons, has basically said, I don't care. Okay, all of those people in the Red Keep, they didn't do anything to me, but they're just going to have to die. And like, that's when you have to be like, oh, like, I don't know if I agree with that. You know, Samwell Tarly is just a nice, good-hearted man. Samwell and Gilly really proved to us that there's someone out there for everyone, you know? If you think that you're going to be alone forever, just hold on and you'll find somebody who's dumb enough to fall in love with you and, you know, have kids with you. So the next phase of this story is everybody going down to King's Landing. I was so annoyed with Jon when he left and just like gave away his direwolf and like didn't even pet him. You're a monster. What the hell? That direwolf has been with you all of this time and you just left him. And the freaking dog looks so sad. I mean, it's not a dog, but it's like kind of domesticated, right? Well, anyways, the direwolf looks so sad and his little beady red eyes. And I was just like, you suck, Jon Snow. You suck and you're weak. So they're sailing to King's Landing. And honestly, I should have known something was going to go wrong when we see Grey Worm and Miss Sandy on the boat. And they're just looking out and everything looks so peaceful and they're holding hands. It's too good to be true. Whenever people are too comfortable and too happy in this show, you know that some bad shit is coming. Everything's going to be blown up. Somebody's going to die. Game of Thrones itself is a very difficult watch for me because I am very sensitive to violence. I have nightmares. I don't like to see blood. I don't like to see my own blood. I skinned my knee the other day and I almost died trying, and it was like gushing blood and trying to get the bandage on it. Oh my God. Like, I hate it. And this show is just so horrible and gory, but I promise you that I have not felt like a genuine hurt and sadness the way that I felt when Rhaegal was shot out of the sky. I gasped. I covered why was it so emotional seeing that freaking dragon? It was like all of my hopes and dreams were shot down with Rhaegal. And when that big splash and when he fell into the water, Oh my God, it was really emotional. This show really fucks you up. I even freaked out the second time I saw it when I knew it was coming. I don't know, it's kind of like seeing a pet be tortured or something. But anyways, R.I.P. Rhaegal. It's Dany's fault. She rushed that ambush. Rhaegal died with holes in his wings, shot out of the sky. I did have a question about how Euron knew. I guess maybe they were just always prepared, or like, did they get a message? How did they know that Dany and the Northerners were coming? Did somebody tell them? And then I guess the other question is, you know that Euron's fleet is going to be there, so why weren't the Northerners adequately prepared, right? Like, Dany already knew that her dragons were vulnerable. She just got a little bit too big for her britches and went out there and thought that she's a bad bitch who can burn everybody alive. And now she only has one dragon. Oh, it's so annoying. I'm so annoyed with Dany. I think that the scene with the ships was more interesting than the Battle of Winterfell to me. That action and everybody scrambling and the arrows, they're having to dodge the arrows, and then Tyrion jumping into the water. I don't know. That's the Game of Thrones violence that I like to see. And then they're washed ashore, and that's the point when we realize that Missandei is probably dead, and then it's like, oh crap, you know, because we love her. Now we get back to King's Landing, where Cersei is just being an evil monster, as she always is, and she's delighting in the death of Rhaegal, who didn't do anything to anybody. He just wanted to fly and like be a good dragon for Dany. But anyways, does Cersei not think she's ever gonna see Jaime again? What is she gonna do about this lie? Does she just expect to kill Euron? And I don't know, like, I'm like, what is the point of this lie? I mean, I get the point of the lie. What's the outcome of this? I guess she just assumes that Jaime is dead or he's never coming back, but that's gonna be interesting. Dany and Cersei are not the same. When, Cersei's hand, I can't remember what his name is. What is he? The Maester? I can't remember what his name is. But when he's explaining to Cersei, like, these people are gonna die. And Cersei's just like, oh well. Like, girl, why are you not dead? Why are you still alive, Cersei Lannister? So this episode is where Varys really shines. He's the only one here thinking clearly. Tyrion is too attached to both Cersei and to Dany. He's not thinking clearly. He's making too many mistakes. Varys is the one, he damn near sounds like a socialist, to be honest, where he's like, no. My loyalty is to the people, right? Like, I want to make sure, and he even says, I want to make sure that people can be safe. I don't want them to be killed unnecessarily. I want them to be able to feed their families. Whereas Tyrion, and this is probably where Tyrion's, upper class roots are coming. Like, Tyrion is just completely wedded to the idea of, I went all in on Dany, and so I'm gonna follow Dany. But girl, Dany does not have the answers. We don't know. At this point, we do not know where Dany is gonna take y'all. So I'm with Varys. Choose the right person. Now, I don't know if that right person is Jon or Dany at this point, but it's worth a debate. It is worth a discussion. And like Varys said, Dany is a Targaryen. Okay? And like, we don't know when that Targaryen is gonna come out. And we don't know if, when pushed, what she's gonna do. I do kind of hate that Varys used sexism to endorse Jon, even though we know that that's true. I mean, it's still true, girl, that men are going to rally around a man. And I guess that's why my heart is still with Dany quite a bit, because she has taken this power and like, taking control and like used her sexuality the way that she wanted to use it. I don't know. I'm conflicted. I don't know who should be on the Iron Throne. I really don't know. It's also not sexist for Varys to say that Daenerys is too strong for Jon. She is too strong for Jon. Jon is a weakling. He's out here spilling secrets and bending the knee and all that. No, he is not strong enough to be on equal playing field with Daenerys Targaryen. He's just not. Sorry, Aegon. But Brienne and Jaime knocked boots. Brienne has been in love with Jaime since, I don't know, 2 seasons. I don't know, however long that they've been together. It was inevitable. And it was also inevitable that when Jaime finds out that the Northerners are in trouble, that he is going to get on his horse and ride away and leave Brienne in the dust. Brienne just lost her virginity to this man, this horrible, horrible man. And now she's out here crying in her robe, barefoot in Winterfell. Come on. I am empathetic to Brienne because who among us hasn't been out here looking crazy over a man who ain't shit? Who among us? Raise your hand. Okay. I can't raise my hand. Girl, I've been there, but still, it's really sad and pathetic to see over Jaime Lannister. Jaime, I only have one hand because I'm fucking stupid Lannister. At least Jaime knows that he's a horrible person. I will not be sad if Jaime dies. At all. Don't y'all think that I forgot? Y'all think that I forgot what happened in the first 7 seasons of this freaking series? No, kill him. Bye. You and your sister / lover can go. Bye-bye. Now we're back in King's Landing and we see Cersei and Euron in the mountain and Missandei, who was taken as a prisoner, up on like a parapet? Is that what that's called? I don't know. I forgot my, AP European history to even remember what that is called. But, so they're up there and obviously something bad is about to happen. So the Northerners come up and Tyrion, as the Hand of the Queen, wants to bargain with Cersei's hand. I cannot remember what his name is. Obviously, it's not gonna work. And this is why I get so frustrated with Tyrion. And this is why he's not a reliable counselor, because he's too invested. You really think you're going to negotiate with Cersei? Really, Tyrion? When has that worked before? When Tyrion looks up to Cersei and he's talking to her and says, "Oh, I know you're not a monster." Do you? Do you know she's not a monster? I don't know that she's not we don't know that she's not a monster. Only you know she's not a monster. It's just so frustrating because it's like, she is evil. She's evil personified. And so that back and forth, first of all, let me just say, Peter Dinklage is a hell of an actor. I knew that he was winning all of these awards before I was really invested in Game of Thrones. And I'd be like, why is he winning all of this stuff? But now that I'm really invested and I've watched, I'm like, oh, he deserves every Emmy, every BAFTA, every award imaginable for this role because he is wonderful. Those Tyrion monologues where he's just talking and the facial expressions and ooh, I love Peter Dinklage Hive. Hashtag Peter Dinklage Hive because I just think he is wonderful. But Tyrion, the character, oh, he's so frustrating. So frustrating. So then we get to the climax of this episode, which is Missandei's death. And oh, those moments before she dies, when we just see shots of everybody's face and everybody's breathing hard and they're nervous and they're scared. And we see Grey Worm and we see Dany and we see Tyrion and we see Cersei and we see, oh, Missandei. Oh, so good. Not only is it good directing with those shots, but it's good. Oh, I love good acting, you guys. It was so good and so tense. And I knew it was coming, but you hope it's not going to come. You know it's coming because Cersei is a monster, but you hope it's not going to come. And then it happened. Oh my God. Oh my God. Such a good way to end this episode. Okay, now my only question is, Dany had already made it up in her mind that she was going to do whatever was necessary to reclaim the Iron Throne. So when everybody was standing up there, up on those platforms, and Drogon was right there, I'm like, why didn't you get Drogon to just light these people up? Just burn them all real fast, right? They couldn't have killed it. They couldn't have killed the dragon that fast. Just, Dracarys these bitches and let's go. And Missandei, when she was standing up there and Cersei, little evil Cersei was like, get your last words together. And Missandei said, Dracarys? Oh my God. Ooh, it was so good. It was so freaking iconic. I don't understand why people had a problem with that. First of all, everybody dies in this freaking show. How are you mad about Missandei getting beheaded? Ned Stark got beheaded. This is the show where Ned Stark got beheaded. People get killed in horrible ways. Ramsay had Dogs maul people to death. We had the Red Wedding where a pregnant woman was stabbed several times in the stomach. There have been so many deaths, honestly, on this show that I can't even tell you about because I didn't even see them because my eyes were closed. But I'm sure, because I'm very sensitive to violence, like I said, but there's just innumerable, horrific, painful and gut-wrenching deaths in this show. To be mad at Missing Day to me is like, y'all don't know what you signed up for. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all are acting like this is Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood and everybody lives. No, girl, people die. It's the fucking Game of Thrones, okay? So I have no problem with how she went out. And at least Missing Day went out with dignity. And Ned Stark went out with a bowed head, okay? Ned Stark went out kissing the Lannisters' asses. At least Missandei said, well, okay, I know what's gonna happen, but I'm gonna give you a message. Kill these people. Kill everybody. Yes, Missandei, like, do not waste those last moments. I'm just so frustrated by that particular criticism because it does not make sense. Everybody dies. This is Game of Thrones. They killed a little girl last week. And that whole, oh, she shouldn't have died because she's black. No, anybody can get it. Everybody can die. This is freaking Westeros, okay? No one is safe. Beautiful Missandei of Noth died a very honorable death. She said, ashes to ashes, dust to dust, bitches. And she was out of here. But it wasn't in vain, right? And we see Dany, everybody is crushed at that point. And we see Dany turn away and like, she is determined as ever to kill everybody. Everybody's going to die, hopefully. Ooh, hopefully. So that's really all I have to say about that episode. Season 8, episode 4. I loved it. I would even watch it again, probably. It gave me everything that I needed. I really like the Game of Thrones episodes that are about the relationships and moving the plot forward. I'm not super into action and all of that stuff. I just want to know who is going to die. How are they going to die? What are the stakes? Give me drama. Give me beautiful scenery and like vast locations. Give me camera angles. I love that. And this episode delivered. Really, again, I don't even care what happens in the next 2 episodes. The only thing I care about is Cersei Lannister getting the hell out of here, okay? What's so funny is I'm fundamentally a pacifist by nature. I'm like, no war, no violence. We don't need to do that. Let's talk it out. Let's negotiate. But once I started watching this show, I'm like, kill them. Kill everybody. Do whatever you have to do. Dracarys, Drogon, burn everybody alive. I want to hear them scream, okay? Like, it is so crazy how my mentality completely changes in Game of Thrones, and I don't want to see it, okay? I can't deal with dead body parts and heads being chopped off and all that, but I want to make sure that they are good and dead. Teach them a lesson. They will know not to fuck with us anymore. And it's like psychotic the way that I'm like, kill them, Drogon, kill them. But yeah, that's where I am right now. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to follow the Patreon, which is where all of my bonus content goes. Thanks so much to all the Patreon supporters. I am going to be doing so much cool new stuff over there this month. Buy some merch, leave a comment, send me an email or a direct message because I do read them. Even if I don't respond, I see them. I will see you guys later. This is my last Game of Thrones. We're not doing this no more. We're not doing this no more. And you know why we're not doing this anymore? Because Cersei Lannister is going to die. Okay, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.